morning, everybody, and welcome to number 3 MasterClass. This is something that we absolutely love doing here at Sales Boomerang and Mortgage Coach. There's no question that we are changing the face of the mortgage industry. We're helping loan officers create lifelong clients, residual income. We have this belief that, you know what, if financial planners and financial advisors can make money every year off their clients, it's called assets under management. And if life insurance can get paid and make money every year off their clients, it's called book of business. Why can't mortgage professionals? It's called mortgages under management. It's called delivering advice over price. So we're doing this series, this masterclass, where we bring in some of the industry's not only just most successful mortgage professionals, but people that are playing the game. They're actually creating clients for life. The way they're delivering advice, the way that they're following up with their client database. When they get borrower intelligence alerts, they're actually making the calls and they're getting after it. So we've got an incredible guest. Before I introduce the one and only Jeremy Forcier, Alex, anything you want to say before we get it started?
No, I'm pumped. I'm seeing the number of people keep coming and coming. So, I would say we should give this at like 60 to 90 seconds before we really launch it, because we had a ton of people register. But I love how you said it. I've already put it into the chat. Mortgages under management, that is the residual income plan for mortgage professionals. That's it. The question is, how do you get your mortgages under management? We're going to cover some of that today, and we're all eager to learn from one of your masters here. So
one more thing before I bring Jeremy on stage, and he'll introduce his 2 students for today, is that not only will you close more loans because you have better conversion rates, not only will you have less price exceptions and you'll lose less loan to rate shopping, not only will you get more referrals and close more of your past client loans, you're going to like your job better. Like, the job of a data-driven mortgage advisor is a lot more fun, a lot more gratifying than a fee worksheet loan officer. So let's bring on the man, the myth. Jeremy Forcier is a loan officer. I don't even know how many times I've interviewed him. He is so popular in the Mortgage Coach YouTube channel. We actually have a Jeremy Forcier playlist. So if you like to, there's a playlist for Jeremy. The other thing I always distinguishes him is not only is he consistently a $200 million a year producer, don't know about this year yet, but yeah, you see him, he shook his hands. Maybe not 200 million this year, but the dude's fun. He makes this business fun. I've done a site visit with Jeremy Forcier. He's got music playing. He's having fun. He's gamified what it means to be a mortgage leader. So Jeremy, why don't you jump on stage, say a few words, then introduce your students, and Alex and I will jump off stage and pop back in when we have something to say.
Awesome. Love it. Thank you so much for the kind introduction. I am a verbal praise, love language person. And so any praise is welcome. And I really, really appreciate it. So super stoked to be here, not only to highlight some things that I'm doing right now that I think will make a really big difference for everyone on the call, but also to highlight 2 studs that I have the pleasure of working with, that I've had the pleasure to mentor over the last 2 years for Evan and 1 year for Jeff. And they are both, that's how long they've been in the business, just so you know, total. Like that 1 year and almost 2 years. So they're just killing it as well. They finally are drinking the Kool-Aid on the mortgage coach juice, and they're doing a lot more than some loan officers that have been in the business for 15 years that work for me. And so it's fascinating to me that they are new. And there's a saying I always love to use, like, ignorance on fire is way better than knowledge on ice. Like, it just is. Like ignorance on fire. Let's go find where the answers are, find the good stuff. And these 2 people really do an excellent job, and they're going to share some success stories as well. So yeah, this is not a $200 million year for me. Okay, there's no way, shape, or form, unless rates drop to 1.5% tomorrow, then I might do 200 million before the end of the year. So, but I'm still tracking great year, looking at somewhere between 120 and 135-ish in personal production, all purchase business, go figure, very small percentage of refi business. And I'm having a lot of fun. I'm literally having the most fun right now that I've had in a decade, because I'm valuable again, which I love. Advice matters more than ever right now, which I love. Strategy matters more right now, which I love. And most importantly, your mindset matters right now more than ever, which I love. So it really, this market right now is me. And it is a lot of fun. It's chaotic. You managing expectations, how to make people feel good and keep them calm when they're panicking. It sounds weird to say that. I love all of that. Like, I literally love it. It gets me fired up. There's so much to do in a day and so many people we can have a positive impact on. And we're doing it on a day-to-day basis. So I'd like to introduce my two homies here. First and foremost, Mr. Jeff Meyers. How you doing?
Good, Jeremy. How's it going?
I'm doing very, very well. If you could give people just a little background on you. You've been in the business 42 years. You've done a gazillion loans. Tell them about yourself.
Yeah, maybe the exact opposite. I'm one of the new guys out there, but like you said, being the new guy and kind of being ignorant to the current business is maybe a great thing, in these conditions. So just about a year in, actually. So licensed next month, a full year. So, it's been a really, challenging but rewarding year. So really getting excited about the future.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. One thing that I love about Jeff is that he is not afraid to, number one, just like say, hey, do this. And he'll go, okay. And he'll just go do it. Like, literally, he'll just implement really quickly. So first takeaway I want for everyone that's going to watch this, because I'm going to share a lot of different strategies using total cost analysis and calling data alerts through sales Boomerang, et cetera. I want you to know that, like, execution quickly will win always. Execution quickly will win always. So what about you, Mr. Evan? You've been in the business since you were 8 years old. How old are you? Like 9 this year?
You got it exactly right. No, 25 here. I got in the business while I was still in college, and then I graduated college December 2019. So full-time working January 2020 up until now.
That's awesome. I love it. And so that's another thing I love about Evan is that he also doesn't really have very much fear at all. He gets after it, he executes, and he really wants to do a good job with the tools that he has available to him, and really like leveraging different markets. And he's created a crazy business. I mean, last year you did what, like 40+ million in your second year in the business?
Yeah, right under 48 million.
Unbelievable. So with no relationships, right. You guys, I want you to hear this. With no relationships, didn't you move to a different state too?
Yeah, I got a place up in Oregon.
Yeah, so works dual markets, literally spends time 50-50 between 2 different markets, and is just absolutely crushing it. So I can't wait to dig into a little bit with you on how things are working for you, okay?
And I just want to mention, I think, Jeremy, what you're saying, I think it's very important that we just sort of put a spotlight on this. Jeremy has said twice that these two, called them studs, are fearless. And I think this is very important for everyone listening, either for yourself or for your team. Think about the concept of that confidence and fearlessness, meaning you get an opportunity. So many people are like, I'm afraid to call. I don't know what to say. How am I going to approach it? What do you mean go out and visit agents? What do you mean find interior designers that can refer business to me? Like, I'm afraid. Remember this conversation. Be fearless. Like, just take, what's the worst that can happen, right? So just take those chances and call, talk to people. And in this environment, by the way, if you call, you may want to do more listening than talking. So how scary is it to listen, right? And so just take what Jeremy's saying, and you're about to see some of the results this group has been producing, and that confidence is that secret superpower. So
yep, I totally agree. I appreciate that.
Say congratulations to both of you guys, man. It is awesome to hear what you've done, and trust me, I get texts all the time after interviews with new loan officers. You're going to inspire folks. You're going to like, I can do it too. And you know what you're also going to inspire? There's going to be loan officers, and Jeremy and I know them, that have killed it in previous years, and they're a little down. You're going to inspire them. So you bring a lot of value. Super grateful. Keep going, Jeremy.
I love it. I love it. I know this is the new beef, the new steaks here, not over-seasoned old beef. This is the new beef, and I love it. So a couple things. I would love to start out with what I think right now is critical, and it's called pattern interruption. Okay, so pattern interruption. And I believe that pattern interruption, when you're talking to people, is the key to gaining trust and influence a lot faster. Sosi on his call, the very first mastermind, talked about like how people process information, and that like millennials, the new age of buyers, et cetera, are very untrusting, seeing what happened maybe to their parents or to an older generation of people that just blindly trusted. And pattern interruption is a really simple concept, and I use it in my total cost analysis all the time, as well as talking to clients, where all it means is that you are interrupting their normal thought process. Okay, and that's very, very, very easy to do. So if you are calling, for example, a new lead, and they start out and just ask what your rate is, and you would ask a simple question back saying, well, what rate would you like? That interrupts their thought process, right? That simple response reaction interrupts their thought process and makes you in control of the conversation as the expert. So there's a million different ways that I can show you all how to use pattern interruption, but within TCAs and using the video within TCAs, for me personally, I know Evan's going to share how he's doing it live over the phone and influencing. I find that, you know, directing them to where you want the spotlight of transferring trust is of like the absolute utmost importance. Okay, absolute utmost importance. So I'm going to share my screen if that's okay, Dave, and I just kind of want to hop in here to some of the stuff that I've created up front. Is that cool? He said, yep. I heard him.
So first of all, Jeremy, since when do you ask my permission for anything?
I don't know, man. I'm just being
Come on,
polite
man.
today, I guess.
All
It's
right.
just,
Yeah.
yeah.
You are the master of this class. So no more ask for permission. Rock it out, brother.
There's a first time for everything, okay? So here's an example of pattern interruption, all right? So I'm going to share my screen here. And what you're seeing here is a total cost analysis from last week, because if it was from yesterday, this would have a 9, and it's where the 5 is probably. But this is an example of pattern interruption. So this is a first-time home buyer, calls you, is excited, wants to make an offer right away. They followed the process. They filled out the loan app. We got them pre-approved really quickly, and then they're ready to make an offer. And they're so worried about the interest rates that are going to continue to move up. So what I'm showing them here, and I'm just going to blow this up a little bit.
And Jeremy, while you're blowing it up, I'm going to interrupt your pattern for just a second.
Please do.
So you jumped right into the TCA, which I think is important. But let's assume for just a minute there's a few people on this that don't know what a TCA is.
Oh, great point.
Just maybe fill them in.
Sure. So a TCA is a total cost analysis, and it's a presentation tool that I use every single time with every single client. And it is the easiest way to show options in a non-pressure, show options, share strategies in a non-pressure sales environment. That's my definition of what a total cost analysis is. It shows purchase prices, it shows interest rates, it shows monthly payments, it shows closing costs, it shows benefits of one option for the other. And you can also show strategies, whether that's a seller credit buy down, or whether that's a 2-1 buy down, or whether it's an ARM versus a fixed rate mortgage, whether it's literally just different interest rate with different cost structures, or as in this presentation that I'm going to share, showing them what options are now and what the future we believe to be in the next 12 months, and what those payments would be in the future, or what I call future casting, right? And so this is what a total cost analysis is. It literally itemizes, all of the different costs from title, escrow, appraisal, and gives the true transparent experience, which is what we all want to deliver to consumers. Okay, did I do a good job, Alex?
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Awesome. So this particular presentation that I'm going to walk you through is what I sent, and there is a video, but I won't play it. And I do believe that either doing a video every single time on a total cost analysis is necessary, because I noticed that conversion is 33% higher if you include a video on these versus lower when you don't, or that you send them the total cost analysis link, or you're doing it live with them over the phone or on Zoom. I think it's critical that it becomes interactive, and that it's not just a fancier form of a fee sheet, right? Or 4 fee sheets in this example. So I think you interacting with it is absolutely critical, making sure that you are actually having some type of human interaction on it. So in this example, they made an offer on a $610,000 purchase price, okay, on a house. And you can see I have 4 separate columns here. And how I always explain it to customers, and the pattern interruption starts right out of the gate. So like if I was sending this to Evan, for example, who's on this, I would start the video with literally like, hey, Evan, it's Jeremy Forcier, super excited for you. What I'm going to do is go through some different options with you here and show you where rates are trading right now, what we predict them to be in the future, and why you should probably choose the highest interest rate you can get right now. Okay, so I'm just going to stop there for a second. That is a pattern interruption, just so you know. So I think you should get the highest interest rate humanly possible right now. I know for a lot of you listening to that, that interrupted your pattern of thought. Like you were like, whoa, why would I want, when you ask yourself a question, that's an interruption, right? And then you're in control of delivering the information, and they're going to pay attention to the details more with you as the expert. So I'm going to go back to Sharon here. Cool. So what I do is I just walk them through, you know, column number 1, we have a 6.5% interest rate option. Your payment, including taxes and insurance, is $44.75 and 34 cents. And your total cash to close, which includes everything that other lenders won't tell you. By the way, pattern interruption number 2, that other lenders won't tell you, vilifying your competition. Slandering your competition is not okay. All right, but vilifying industry, go for it. Okay, so that a lot of other lenders won't tell you, this includes everything: title, escrow, appraisal, what we call an impound account, collection of taxes up front. Absolutely everything's included in here. That way you don't have any surprises if you were thinking about working with someone else. Okay, that's pattern interruption, inception, planting a seed. So that way you move to the second column. Now, in the second column is a 6.325% option. Payment's going to be slightly less at $44.08 and 92 cents, and your cash to close, you can notice, goes a little bit up to $47.755. So you can see already that the relationship is the lower rate you choose, the more out of pocket. And we have to make sure we make a good decision on where we spend our money, because I'm focused on you accumulating wealth over time. Now, in the third column is the lowest interest rate option before we get to number 4 at 5.95%. Payment there would be $42.68 and 31 cents, and your cash to close goes up to $53.886. Now, the reason why I made a 4th column, and it's titled Future, for a reason. This is what Fannie Mae, who is the one who insures all mortgages in the United States, is predicting where interest rates will be next year. So I'm showing you that in the future, you're going to do what's called a refinance. Remember, as a first-time home buyer, you have to tell them everything like they're 5 years old. Okay, you're going to look at this future column. This is what your payment's going to be when we refinance you, okay, in the future. Pattern interruption again. I'm saying I'm already going to do something else for them, okay? So I'm just trying to break this down for you. I'm going to refinance you in the future. We monitor the interest rates, and when they hit a level that makes sense for you to refinance, we're going to automatically start your file with your permission. So in the future, in the next 6 to 12 months, your rate is going to be around 4.5%, and we're predicting a payment of around $37.48. So the reason why I think you should get the highest interest rate humanly possible right now is that you shouldn't waste an extra $2,000 or $7,000 out of pocket to save $100 a month, when in 12 months from now, you're going to refinance and save $726 per month. So that is
Jeremy,
one
great
example.
One more point to what you were just saying, right? Because you're saying, hey, and this, it's brilliant. You just mentioned we're looking at rates. We have some insights, right? So just to kind of tie some things together, exactly what Jeremy's saying. You're presenting and you're future casting, and you're saying, hey, we're not going to guess. We're not just going to flip a coin and be like, let's call you back and see if you got something. Or I'm going to call you and be like, hey, have you seen the industry? No, that's not what Jeremy does. That's not what this team does. That's not the smart way to do it. So incorporating intelligence, insights into your strategy is key. Knowing exactly when to call and have that conversation, and actually being prepared to have that conversation. And when I say being prepared, not just you being prepared. Jeremy's preparing the borrower for the next loan already, right now.
Yep.
That is, somebody said in chat that you're a mortgage god. Well, here's the reason why. Because Jeremy's thinking about this. I know that's your love language, so I'm going to make sure I share it with you. And so, very important. The more insights you have, the more ability you can look at your entire customer base and go, now's the time, now's the time. I've already planted the seed that we're going to do this, but now's the time, not guess. You know it's the time. That's what makes this super powerful. So just want to make sure we tie that together. Intelligence is key here.
Guys, write this down. When you know something that your prospect doesn't know, like, oh, they're looking at my TCA right now. They clicked on it and they watch it. That is powerful. You know what that also helps you do? Speed to lead. So part of the platform we're building is not only when you're selling and you're giving something someone, you know whether they're watching it or not. You know how long they watched it. And then with the sales boomerang alerts, you know when they ran a credit report. You know when they hit a tappable equity milestone. You know when they hit an age where, wow, this could be a reverse mortgage, or this is a family that looks like they could be moving up. All these insights matters. And here's the deal, guys. Modern mortgage professionals, the loan officer of the future, this is how they roll. Like that's our goal, is to turn you into a data-driven mortgage advisor. And that's why we're doing these master classes. We're finding loan officers that are doing the right things right, and they're sharing these best practices. So Jeremy, you're killing it, brother. Keep it rocking. Awesome.
So before I get into a bunch of my other strategies where we can talk about how to interrupt pattern thought and use strategies to interrupt pattern, I would love to, want to ask you a question, Jeff. Is that cool?
Yeah, of course.
All right, awesome. So you've been in the business less than 1 year,
yeah,
right?
One year next month.
1 year next month. And when I hopped on a call with Jeff earlier, just to, make sure we're on the same page, it's casual conversation, et cetera, I asked a simple question of, hey, so how many, active files do you have right now, like pre-approvals and in contracts? And Jeff has 25, okay, which is a lot. Like I am looking at people's pipelines just dwindling, et cetera. And this is someone who's been in the business for less than a year that has 25 active files. So I think it's really important to highlight that. But I would love for you to share, number one, what has your experience been using Mortgage Coach since I got you hooked up on it? And you're new to Mortgage Coach, which I love. And number two is, tell us, I would love to know the story about the strategy that you used where you got some traction with a group of agents.
Sure. Thanks, Jeremy. After Vegas, I was, really excited to implement Mortgage Coach, and, got home, kind of jumped on a lot of their trainings. They have the weekly trainings, really daily. So really got myself trained, really tapped into their staff. They have great support staff. And then really just, after, we had a few conversations about it, kind of started just implementing it into my day-to-day. My big win-win right now is kind of getting multiple teams and sending out the seller buy down and really diving into that with them, setting it up, sending the video, and then calling and follow up, popping into their office, and just, really showing and adding that value of, I have an example I can pull up here as well, if I can share my screen really quick.
Yeah, you absolutely can. And I want to highlight what he's saying right now, though, is that, number one, he's using this as a value add. And this is something that I get from loan officers that work for me and that don't work for me all the time. They're like, hey, what else should I do besides the seller buy down? Because everyone's talking about that. I want to make sure you all understand that just because we talk about it in this group, the Mortgage Coach Mastermind, which is the most powerful group in the mortgage industry, in the space, that doesn't mean that anyone knows what it is still. Like literally, like you could present it 1,000 times and probably 900 people haven't heard of it, or at least they don't remember the strategy. From a realtor perspective or from a consumer's perspective, that is a pattern interruption in itself, because they are only thinking about price and rate, not cost, not different ways to do it. So if you could, feel free to share your screen, Jeff, and tell us the story about how you won a deal that you totally didn't have. And I believe that your rate was even higher. And then you leveraged this and it got shared with a bunch of other real estate agents.
Sure. Thanks, Jeremy. Yeah, so I'll share my screen real quick here. This is just, a really, simple total cost analysis I sent out to a client that was, I knew was shopping me against multiple, what I called seasoned loan officers, which Jeremy loves the word seasoned. So, I just wanted to break down, this is obviously an older presentation with rates here. But, I wanted to show them, what the payments would look like. I have a video here. That was really the game changer for them. Really breaking down the monthly payments, and really having a clear-cut picture of, what their payments would look like. And, like I said, the video was the thing that really put it over the top, and they just both commented and loved so much.
Awesome. So what was the feedback from the agent when you sent this?
So the buyer's agent was the agent I sent it to, who actually shared it with the seller's agent, who shared it with, I guess, their whole office, it sounded like. So just so impressed, just really actually helped them understand the strategies and, kind of the rates we were looking at, and, really put in perspective for everyone, helped to really, get that communication, really just everyone on the same page.
That's awesome. And so with the client that you were dealing with, though, if you could give us a little bit more insight on, they were shopping you, and everyone's so afraid of that word shop, maybe because it's a 4-letter word, I don't know, but everyone's so afraid of the word, and everyone shops. It's just like how they shop is what's more important. So there's plenty of people that go to a Lexus dealership to buy a car, and there's plenty of people that go to Toyota. Kind of the same car, by the way. One person pays more, right? And one person pays less, though. So I would love to know, with the client you were dealing with specifically, what was their experience and what was their feedback when they had been talking to multiple other people? Why did they choose you?
Really, honestly, the video. That's what they said. They said they loved the video. They had one of them had a marketing background, and just the thought and the effort and just the clear, concise picture of what their payment would look like with whatever rate we selected was the win-win. They said, the video was the thing that put it over the top.
I love it. So takeaway again, if you're not using a video in the presentations, you are super duper missing out. Don't be afraid of it. And when I say that Jeff and Evan are fearless, I don't really mean 100%. I feel fear every single day, but I feel fear very quickly, and then I do it anyway. That's how you could confront fear. Feel a little fear, do it anyway. Feel a little fear, do it anyway. So thank you. So I super appreciate you sharing that. Can I give you a pro tip in real time, just because you shared that? So I would highly recommend to you and everyone else on here is that when you send the presentation out, already have the fields highlighted that you want them to pay attention to. Okay, I highly, highly, highly recommend that. Don't highlight the ones you don't want them to pay attention to. Highlight the ones you do want them to pay attention to. Number one, it's going to get them super focused on what you want to talk about as the expert. Okay. Number two, it's going to make it easier for you when you're recording a video in your brain to know what to focus on, rather than looking at a digital white piece of paper with a bunch of numbers on it and going, reading down, scanning, and thinking about what you're going to say. So just pro tip for everyone and you is highlight what you want to cover, what you want them to focus on. Don't highlight what you don't want them to focus on, and just walk yourself through that. It will make the sales presentation so much easier for you.
Sure.
Hey, Jeremy, what might be cool is when you actually show everyone how to create a TCA, and I'm going to time you in 3 minutes, whenever it's right, if you could just show that little pro tip and teach them how to do it, if you don't mind.
Yeah, of course. No problem at all. So why don't we transition there, and then I'm going to bring Evan in. And by the way, remember, Evan and Jeff, if you guys have anything to add, please feel free to add. You're going to have a ton of influence in this community as well. So feel free to jump in at any second. I'm happy to stop talking, and I'm also happy to ramble on. So let's go into making a scenario live, and how long does it take? Because the number one objection I get from loan officers is, it's just going to take me so long to learn how to use, or, I tried it once and it took me an hour and a half to make. And I'm telling you, it literally does not take more than a few minutes to take down a scenario, especially if you have someone on the phone. And if someone is hammering you about, hey, what's your rate, or what do payments look like, etc. It's so easy to make one quickly. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And can I have a volunteer to role play with me, someone?
You want someone from here, from that's on, or do you want somebody in chat to just answer your questions?
Literally anyone is cool. So I'm good with anybody. So I want to do a little role play here. So I want to pretend. Okay, so why don't I just do it with you, Alex? Is that cool?
With me, that would be great. That would be actually perfect, because
Okay, cool. So context of this is that you are a borrower, right? You are a new lead, and you want to basically get pre-approved, but you have a house that you already really like, and you want to know what payments are going to be. Okay, so we're going to skip.
Am I renting right now? Let's just say I'm renting.
Yeah, that's perfect. Renting is totally fine. I'm going to let you kind of drive the conversation, and we're going to skip the pleasantries for this part just because we don't want it to take 15 minutes. But
Yep.
we'll just get down to brass tacks. Okay. So, all right. So Alex, that's awesome. So I understand that you are renting right now, and that you're really looking to make an offer right away. And it sounds like your number one goal is like, what are payments going to be, and can I afford this? Is that right?
That's exactly right. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, great. So pause. First thing I'm going to do is when you're in Mortgage Coach, all I'm going to do is click on new client when I'm talking to someone. And I'm literally just going to type in Alex here. And I'm just going to type in lead, pretend like I don't know his last name. All right. And then I'm just going to put in the actual month and date. So, okay, so it looks like your goals are to purchase a home. That's great. We also want to make sure that we can compare it to whatever your rent payment is so that we can show you some really good options compared to what your rent is. Is that cool?
That would be, I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, we absolutely can. So it's my pleasure to do it. So first question I have for you, Alex, is how much do you make on an annual basis?
$65,000.
All right, cool. Awesome. 65,000. That's great. And what do you think your credit score is? Do you think it's good, bad, excellent?
It's really good. That's the one thing I've really, parents taught me to keep that strong.
Okay, awesome. And then do you have any debt outside of a mortgage, meaning like car payments, student loans, anything like that?
No, my car payment is it's paid off already. I bought a used car, and so not really. I just have like a balance on my credit card of about $2,000.
Okay, 2,000. That's awesome. And do you know what the minimum monthly payment is on that?
$84.
All right, that's great. Awesome. Now, as far as your down payment goes and looking at purchasing this house, like how much money do you have to put down, or do you want to put down?
Not much, really. I was hoping to put as little down as possible. I heard about some new home buyer programs. So let's call it 5,000.
Okay, great. So $5,000. That's awesome. And then as far as your current rent goes, how much do you pay in rent?
1,500.
Awesome. $1,500. Great. And do you pay any insurance for your rent?
No.
Okay, cool. So you don't have any monthly renter's insurance. Your stuff's not protected currently.
No, I know I need to do that, but I'm not right now.
Okay, so we'll get you hooked up with a policy on that too. We'll just call it $20 a month. It's super cheap. Okay.
Right.
All right, great. So that is perfect. And then as far as I'm just going to look up something here while I ask you other questions. Purchase price range. What do you think your purchase price range is going to be?
I'm hoping to find something for around 300.
Okay. All right.
That works.
All right, great. 300,000. And then are you currently married or are you single?
Single.
All right, awesome. That is perfect. So let me just update all of this for you. Great. All right. So let's talk about what you're looking at. So you're looking at $300,000. Okay. And you said you have about $5,000.
Yep.
Total to put down. Do you have any ability for maybe like a 3% total down payment? The reason I ask is that your pricing is going to be a lot better and your options are really going to open up if we can figure out how to put down 3% instead of just 5,000.
I mean, if I had to stretch and figure something out, I could probably find, if I do the math quickly in my head, that's around $9,000 if we're getting a $300,000 house.
Yep, it's right around there. So that is perfect. Great. And our goal here is to figure out what exactly the mortgage payment is going to be on this for you. So I'm just going to calculate a couple more things and then we should be all set.
Yeah, because Jeremy, I'm afraid, I want to buy a house, but I'm afraid in this market, and I don't know if it makes sense to rent, or buy, but I'm kind of scared. I'm having this conversation, but I'm not sure if this is right for me.
Well, here's what's great is that it might not be right for you, and that's totally okay too. Like the most important thing is to figure out where you are so that you can come up with a plan to get to where you want to be. That might take you 3 days, 3 months, or 3 years. It doesn't matter to me, but I want to make sure you're super clear on what your opportunities are right now and come up with a plan that's going to work for you.
Perfect.
Cool. So I'm just taking a look at these numbers, and I'm going to send you a link with this afterwards as well, where we can go through it in more depth. But you're looking at right now, you're paying a monthly payment in rent of about $1,520 a month. If you were to purchase a $300,000 home, it looks like your payments are going to be right around $24.43 and 4 cents. Now, that's a big jump. There are some things to take into consideration, though. Number one is that after you take your tax benefit into consideration, as well as the principal paying down. And what I mean by that is that you're paying down your loan every single month. So that's an equity savings account. That's like real equity that's yours, paying down that loan that grows over time every single time you make a mortgage payment. So you're going to have a tax benefit of $201 a month. You're going to be paying principal down of $240 a month. So your actual net monthly payment after you take those into consideration, comparing apples to apples, is about $2,000 a month. So
Wow.
with a rent payment of $1,520, here's what my recommendation is personally. Are you able right now, Alex, to save, okay, at least $500 to $1,000 a month in cash?
Save, like put aside an extra
Yeah.
five. That's a good call. I'm not sure. Again, if I'd have to stretch.
Yeah, so what I would do is either look at a lower purchase price, or I would take, if you're really focused on 300,000, I would take the next 6 months and challenge yourself to save $500 to $1,000 a month in cash, so that you know exactly what it's going to feel like when you purchase a home of $300,000.
And if we're done with
we could stop there, because we could keep going.
No, for sure.
But that is how it goes.
Yeah, and so Jeremy, in first of all, second, I think one of the things that and you guys saw at the end where we were seeing the screen, that is a link that Jeremy could have sent me, and I could have been seeing that on my screen.
Correct.
And that is the magic. And again, if we really had time to get into this, Jeremy could have scrolled down, and maybe you can show everyone now, like, what is my net worth in 5 years of owning a home versus a net worth of 5 years of paying rent. And so watch this. This is where people who are like, oh well, I obviously have to wait.
Yeah, so this is where it's really, really powerful, is showing people like what their net worth can be, clicking on these more info buttons. Total equity, 325,000, that's net worth to the borrower, versus rent, which is zero.
And Jeremy, real quick, go to the advice engine. Go to the advice engine real quick, Jeremy, back where you did the input, and go to the analysis screen. I want to show you guys something. I want to show you a little ninja move. Every family can achieve financial freedom. Go to where it says long-term chart type. Go down a couple right there and click net worth. And now go to the next screen. Go to the next screen, guys. And this is where you can show it a couple different ways. You can show them, hey, go back to the TCA now, and it will have changed, and it will show net worth in that column right now. So I just want to make sure you guys really learn how to use Mortgage Coach, incredibly dynamic, fast ways. And he could have done that live. They're watching this. It's not like, oh, I'll have to get back to you. Like, you're driving this conversation. Super powerful, bro.
Yeah. And got everyone that's listening, again, this is coming from someone that is just diving into the power of this together with Dave and team. And so when I showed this exact thing, I just want you guys to know, I have a friend that lives out in Maryland still. He is currently renting. He is considering buying. I took a very generic, and I kind of built something for him, and I showed him on a rent versus buy, that net worth is what pushed him over there. He's like, oh my goodness gracious. Yes, I mean, it's going to cost me a little bit, but my goodness, I'm actually building some wealth for myself. And this is the first time he told me on the phone. His name is Daniel Brover. On the first time, he said, it's like, it's the first time I feel like an idiot for not buying earlier. That's what he said to me.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I want to tell one more little story. This is an interview I did a couple days ago. It's in the YouTube channel, and it's a brand new loan officer, and he's calling up his renter friends, and he's practicing the TC. Well, actually, he is doing this. There's a script in our new loan officer playbook where if you're new, call up all your renter friends and say, hey, will you help me? I'm new in the business and I just want to practice my rent versus own analysis. And in this particular strategy, he did a house hack where the person could buy the home, they could rent out some friends, or excuse me, rent out some rooms and look at the net worth over time by showing a rent versus house hack strategy. So super powerful. Back to you, Jay.
Love it. So no, I appreciate you guys a ton. So you see how easy it is conversationally. Now, in a normal circumstance, if I was having that conversation, what I would do is end it where I did and let them know that, hey, I'm going to send you a video summarizing all of this and going into a little bit more detail. And that's where I would play with the net worth stuff, et cetera, and send it out. But you can do it really fast. You can do it on the fly. I did one this morning for a real estate agent who I don't really have a relationship with, who was like, hey, I have a client and, you know, they want to make an offer, but they won't talk to you at all unless they know what interest rates are first, right? Now, my initial inclination, right, is like, ugh. And then I get over that fear and I do it anyway, just like I said earlier. And I went through and I created one on the phone with her. I go, hey, tell me what the purchase price is. Tell me what the loan amount is. It took me literally 3 minutes to put together, sent a video over, interrupted their pattern of thought by telling them that, hey, if you deposit $500,000 with X bank, I can get you a 0.5% lower interest rate than anyone else can, et cetera. And I showed them all of that. Those are all, once again, pattern interruption hacks. And you can create it really quickly for people, show value, rather than just quoting a rate over the phone, sending them something to look at with your face on it, listening to you with visuals, and you can influence them more. That realtor introduced me to the client, right, after I did the work for them. So I think it's extremely important to know that there's multiple ways you can use it. It's super fast, super easy, and super effective. So Mr. Evan, I would love to highlight you a little bit here, bud. Is that cool?
Could I do one thing, Evan? I'm sorry, I'm taking 2 minutes from you here. There's something very important about what people are asking in chat and what you were just talking about in that presentation. Somebody's like, oh, you know, it's great, it's magic. Hector said it's magic to be able to show this live as you're talking to the customer. I want to explain something else that's a superpower, and then right to you, Evan. If you could bring a TCA back up for 1 second, I'm going to share with everyone a behavioral psychology study. I'm not going to bring it up on screen. I'm just going to share it with you, but you want to be looking at the screen when I do this. There was a study. I was just talking about it just yesterday with Owen. There was a study done where they put a bunch of people in the room. They put $10 on the table. They said, Jeremy, you're going to make the split. Evan, you're going to decide if the split is fair. And if you decide it's fair, you guys get to keep the money. And so, you know, Jeremy goes $9 for me, $1 for Evan. Evan's like, nope. Even though it's a free dollar, Evan's like, nope, not doing it, right? Not fair. And they did this. And of course, the ones that were 50-50 got the most acceptance, you know, nearly 100%. And as it changed the other way, less and less people accepted it. Well, then they put a twist on it. They decided the computer was going to decide all the information. Who's getting what, right? Who's getting which amount? And Evan is still going to decide if they're going to keep it. Well, guess what happened? When the computer made the decision on the split, it was over 80%. Didn't matter what the split was. People were like, oh, it's free money. Here's why, okay? They said, oh, Evan, or in this case, Jeremy that's doing the split, I'm better than Evan, I'm getting more. I don't like his hair color. I don't like what he's wearing. He sounds funny. I'm keeping more. All of these biases, and we're like, hey, you know what? You're doing this for yourself, not for me. I want you to take a look at the power here. Jeremy's not saying anything except for saying, look at the screen. Yep. Look at what's here for you. I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm just going to serve you, right? I'm going to serve you by showing you, we just talked together. You gave me information. I plugged it in. Here are the results of it. Get yourself out of the way of being like, I know best. Now, Jeremy has brilliant tactics to actually make the person trust Jeremy. Jeremy said, maybe now is not the time. Nobody's ever heard that before from a salesperson. Yep. They're like, what? Now that's the trust building, right? Hey, I want to challenge you. Now that's relationship building. Those are things you're going to learn. But number one, that you don't need to have any skill in sales to understand, is that when there's no bias, when the computer, the system is saying this is ideal, you can now separate yourself from the decision and go, I'm on your side of the table. Let's look at this together. And that is the power of this tool as well. So I just want everyone to understand the strength of a digital presentation, and you're plugging in information and you're not selling, you're serving. So
love it. Excellent. Couldn't agree more. That's fantastic stuff right there. So what you're doing is you're taking yourself out of the equation, like you said. And it's not about you approving or disapproving of their choices. It's not about that at all. It's just you take yourself out. It's not about you approving or disapproving of their choices. It's about having a conversation about it and making sure they make a good choice with your advice. It's as simple as that. So Mr. Evan, Rockstar, LO, less than 2 years in the business, big business, super busy all the time, continuing to grow. Give me some background on like, how has Mortgage Coach made a difference like in your day-to-day? How do you use it? What do you find most effective? I would love for someone being newer, because everyone, remember, it's too busy, or I don't have enough time. Like, how do you use it? Because I think you use it a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's funny, when Jeremy actually asked me if I use it, the exact words I used was religiously.
Yep.
Not only has Jeremy made it very clear from the beginning, we kind of have to use this because of how powerful it is for clients, but also how easy it is to use, really. And so the two examples I want to give with Mortgage Coach is, first, I was prospecting a team a couple of years ago, kept going after the team lead, finally got an appointment with him. And then I showed him, basically, obviously in our conversation, he was telling me what his issues were with previous lenders, with the lender they're working with. And a lot of it came down to things that the TCA could answer. The clients never knew what their cash to close was. They would never review mortgage options with them. It was just basically, hey, enjoy this interest rate. This is what you're going to get. And that was it. So I was able to win over a team, which has been huge, obviously, for my business. And then the example I want to share with a client that was so amazing, because right now, right, rates are going up. People are obviously shopping, which, as Jeremy said, is completely normal. And it's obviously a good thing. I was able to speak with a client, which is a strategy I'm implementing right now with Mortgage Coach, is actually having a conversation with the client on the phone while they're looking at their options.
So Evan does it exactly how Alex was just saying, that it's really, really powerful. So this is a great segue. We didn't plan that, for the record, on like how Evan uses it a little bit different than me. Like, I do that sometimes. Evan does this all the time. So keep going.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, I found this to work very, very well. It is basically getting them on the phone and then obviously walking through the different options with them. But in doing that, obviously I can find out more kind of about their goals, that sort of thing, around the home specifically. So this client, when I had her pre-approved, it was purely about the lowest interest rate. She was going with Quicken, with Chase. I think Union Bank was one, every lender you could imagine. And basically, once she got into contract, then I just had a conversation with her and her husband and found out that they actually want to do a lot of remodels on the home. And they don't have a ton of money to work with. So they're utilizing, a pretty low down payment program. And so what I showed them was an option where they actually got a $5,500 rebate instead of picking the absolute lowest interest rate. And then from there was able to save them some money. They went with me with the higher interest rate, got a little bit of credit back to cover some of their closing costs. And now they actually get to do those improvements that they want to do. So if I didn't have Mortgage Coach, I definitely wouldn't have been able to obviously show them that.
So like, what I want to highlight in that example is that not only is he utilizing TCA, total cost analysis, and Mortgage Coach to show options, etc., but he's also really using it once again to get them to think differently. I'm going to keep going back to pattern interruption. If you give people just what they ask for, you're of no value. Like, you're quoting a rate, you're quoting a fee, they're going to commoditize it, and there is no value. But as soon as you make someone think about something different that nobody else has brought up before, or you show them a different way without saying you should do this, but just showing them that this could be really good for you, given that I hear you want to do X, Y, and Z to the property, you don't want to use all of your money. This is the easiest way to show and tell, not just tell, not just show, but show and tell. And that's why I think it's so powerful and why you're killing it so hard with it. So
you are killing it. That was a great example of an incredible point of sale experience that's going to win the business. But remember, you guys, our goal is not only to help you win at that point of sale, our goal is to help you build your database to where it becomes a residual income machine, where you have mortgages under management. You wowed that customer. And then remember, guys, that customer they're going to be doing a lot of transactions. All of those gold stars are real estate transactions. And if you're really doing this right, I just saw someone comment that, hey, my company has Sales Boomerang. and you integrate the combination of Mortgage Coach and Sales Boomerang, this is where it gets incredible. Like every single realtor's database looks like this. Like even if they wanted to get credit alerts and the kind of equity alerts that we can put, they can't get them because they're not lenders. You have to be a lender to get this. Now, there are a lot of lenders out there that have that shopping for a mortgage alert. And Jeremy, I would love to get before we run out of time, just 1 or 2 scripts from you on different alerts that you get. But what we're doing here at Mortgage Coach and Sales Boomerang is we're going beyond alerts. I mean, alerts are great. Insights are better. And you know what's even better than an insight? A strategy.
That's right.
Where it actually automatically created total cost analysis. And now it's a marketing automated TCA. And now you can update it as a loan officer. So like, think about it. Debt, that's a signal. FICO score, that's a signal. Value in a home, that's a signal. Equity in a home, that's a signal. You notice this particular one over here, that means there's 1,400
114,000
in tappable equity. Guys, that's an insight. And when that comes with the total cost analysis, like it's created, it's a digital link, you can view it, you can have that live experience like they just called out, you can add a video on it, it's personally branded. And remember, it's creating trust because you're showing uncommon transparency. Most loan officers are just delivering fee worksheets. I'm actually, right now you're looking at some slides that I'm gonna do. And I've just been collecting these fee worksheets. Like, guys, that's a fee worksheet. That's advice. That's a fee worksheet, not obvious value. That's advice. When you listen to that interview where the loan officer, this was a customer that was going to be on the fence. They're like, hey, I'm going to wait a year until I buy. And this brand new loan officer, Aaron Wise, it's in our YouTube channel, super recent, was able to, with a 15-minute conversation, showing him how house hacking versus renting could help him build this kind of wealth. Guys, he's off the fence. He's into escrow, rock star with his realtor. And here's my last takeaway, and then I'm going to give it back to you, Jeremy, as we wrap up. Everything is difficult before it's easy. You just need to get through the pain of change and make, I don't know, 15, 20 total cost analysis. Evan, when you learned Mortgage Coach, how long did it take you? Like, how many times did you have to create a TCA before you're like, I got this thing?
Probably 5, if that.
Okay,
Now,
that's a
I have a mentor, Jeremy.
Yeah, fast. Jeffrey, how many did it take you?
Probably the same. I think, like I said, the trainings were a big help for me.
So I am going to tell you, I know people that takes 15 and 20, but is that worth changing your career? Is just to do this 15 to 20 times? Jeremy, would you mind giving us one script that if you were going to call one of your alerts, that you get from your database, just pick one. And I know you got stuff to go through, so let's just hit this real quick.
No, it's all good. So as I say this too, I know I get a lot of people that reach out to me from these type of interviews, like which is fine. Although I do get a lot of requests for, hey, can we talk about the trigger alerts and how you're doing? Every time I talk about it on here, I'm literally telling you exactly what I do. Like there's no, I'm not going to get on the phone with you and tell you something different. Like it's all good, but just know that like I'm actually literally telling you. Don't do anything more complicated than what I'm telling you right now. So when I get I'm going to use 2 alerts, okay? And if you're not using like Sales Boomerang, you're not getting alerts, I highly, highly, highly recommend you take a look at it, because would you rather play catch with a baseball by yourself where you throw it, then you have to run and go find it and pick it up and figure it out? Or would you rather throw a boomerang that comes right back to you every single time? Like that's exactly how I see these alerts, is that it's monitoring and it's bringing clients back into the fold with you. And all you got to do is catch the thing. It's not that complicated. So for me, 2 alerts. One is listing alert. Okay. Listing alert. House was listed for sale. Okay. This has happened, I should say, a lot in my market over the last 6 months, because a lot of people were harvesting equity, selling, downsizing, moving out of state, all of those things. So whenever I get a listing alert that, hey, this house has been listed, I actually call and just say exactly that I did get the alert. It sounds like this. Hey, Dave, it's Jeremy Forcier, CrossCountry Mortgage. Hey, I just got an alert that showed that you listed your house. Congratulations. What are you doing? What's going on? That's it. I mean, it's literally what I do. I call and I say, I saw you listed your house. I have a tracking device on you. And you know, what are you doing? Can I help you? Are you relocating out of the area? Like, what's going on? Is everything okay? Right? Like, to make sure that everything's okay. You have that relationship. And 90% of the time, yeah, they had something come up and that maybe wasn't great, or they're moving out of state, or they decided to rent. But you get to have those conversations and you get to create opportunities. Jay Powers was a great example of that. She's like, yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to buy, but probably in a year from now, I'm going to rent. I'm going to move to a different market and figure out what neighborhood I like, etc. And my answer was, that's fantastic. I would love to pre-approve the people that are going to make offers on your house to make sure that that closes the way it should. Doesn't mean they have to use me, but it's a value add. Ask for that opportunity. Okay. Second opportunity. Hey, even though you are thinking you're going to buy in 6 months or a year from now, we should work on your pre-approval right now and let it sit, because you never know, you might find something in 3 months or 4 months. So I got opportunities to pre-qual people for the purchase of her home, and she got a fully underwritten pre-approval with me for the future. And that wouldn't have happened if I didn't have that alert, if I didn't know that she listed her house. So just call. If you don't get a hold of them, send them an email. I saw you listed your house. I'd love to help you. That simple. Okay. Super, super simple.
And one last thing, Jeremy, I put all the links. One, when I did the alert script, it's in here, actual scripts to the alert. And the biggest takeaway from everything that Jeremy does is he just calls people up like he's their financial friend. Like get your head around, I'm a financial friend and I'm calling you, and the words will come out right. And then the other takeaway from all the best Boomerang leaders, they're doing this every day. And they're trying to get it done by 9. Like, you get these alerts first thing in the morning, like don't call too early. Let's not wake anybody up. But like between 8 and 9, get your calls out. You know, how big is your database? How many of these do you get? Get that call done first thing in the morning. You're a financial friend calling folks. So Jeremy, you got about 5 minutes left. I'll let you wrap it up.
So second credit trigger real quick though is, which is very common where people panic more, is like past client credit trigger or or current client in process credit trigger, right? They could be shopping for another mortgage, etc. Don't be afraid of this one either. Now, I do handle this one a little bit different. I don't just call it out because I don't want to put them on blast and make them feel like they don't want to talk to me. Okay, so how I handle this one is a simple phone call and an email follow-up if I don't get a hold of them. And it sounds just like this. Hey, Dave, it's Jeremy Forcier from CrossCountry Mortgage. I wanted to check in with you because there's been some significant changes in the market that could affect what type of loan you are getting. And I have a great strategy I want to go over with you. So give me a call back whenever you have a chance. And that's the voicemail. And then I follow up with the email. Hey, Dave, just left you a voicemail, right? There's significant changes in the market. I want to make sure that we go over what they are, how we can work around them. And I have a great strategy to share with you. I get 90% return calls when I say that script. Okay, it doesn't mean I get all the loans. Sometimes, like I had one last week, I lost. The guy was like, dude, I love you, man. Like, I really do. You've been so great. But the builder literally was like, we'll give you $60,000 off the purchase price if you use our in-house lender. And I was like, you should do that. I'll be here waiting for you, right? So that script is very, very powerful on any type of trigger.
People are loving it.
Jeremy, hey, and real quick, I do want to end this close to on time. We may have to do a part 2 if we
I
get
think we
Jeremy
do.
Masterclass part 2. He's not going to say it again because it's recorded and it's in the YouTube channel.
Woo.
Jeremy, you are one of the most profitable loan officers in terms of getting the least amount of price exceptions. And part of that is, like, you're a genius at that script. And then you're a genius. Remind everybody your script when someone calls you and you gave them a TCA and they're calling, they said, oh, I got a better rate than you. Would you mind just giving us a minute on how you handle that? Because guys, it's pure gold. Like, new loans now, everybody.
Yeah. So whenever anyone says that they got, by the way, I'm going to flip it even and say that, hey, your rate, yours was way better, because it works both ways. Okay. Your rate. This is how I transfer trust quickly. When someone tells me, hey, yeah, we want to go with you, your rate was way better, I always stop and say, hey, let's be honest. My rate was not better. You probably got a quote on a different day. We should all be pretty close to the same. The reason you're going to use me isn't because of that, because things change all the time. So I don't want to throw our industry under the bus and say that, like, I'm better today. You probably got a quote on Friday when the market was in turmoil and the rates were 0.5% higher because no one knew how to price it. So I want to be clear, of course, we're going to get you the best thing, best strategy, but that, you know, if you talk to the same people on the same day, that's not why you're going to use me. You're going to use me because we're going to make sure that we have your short, intermediate, long-term goals in play, smooth process, no surprises, and it's going to be fun. That's what I say sometimes. The
And
other
I'm going
time,
to coach you over time to make sure you always have the best loan over
exactly.
time.
Yep.
Yes.
And so second way would be when someone says, hey, I do this all the time. You got to have fun. All right. When people are like, hey, so I got quoted 4.125% yesterday. Right. And I'm like, rates are like 7, you know, and I'm like, okay. I go, cool. I can get, oh, is that what you'd like? That's no problem. I'd be happy to give you 4.125. And I shut up. That's pattern interruption, just so you know. Okay. So then I get to explain that, listen, you can have any rate that you want. How much does it cost is what it comes down to. Why don't you go ahead and send me the total cost analysis that the other lender gave you? I'm happy to take a look at it. And if it is legit, I will tell you that, hey, they messed up or something. If they have to honor it, I would take it. Could you send over that video link that they sent over to you so I can take a look at it? Crickets every time. No one does it, right? So those are 2 really easy scripts to play off of.
Team, listen, this is,
we are out of time. We're going to wrap this up. We're going to get a number 2. Guys, if you do want to learn about Mortgage Coach Sales Boomerang, check it out. If you don't already follow the Mortgage Coach YouTube channel, every week we're bringing fire, new loan officers, masters like Jeremy. We're here to make you successful. Like, we believe that the loan officer could be the single most valuable advisor to a family. Now, they do need to leverage technology. So they have a fintech powered tech stack so that realtors want to give them their database. We love all these hearts. Keep the hearts going. Now, one last favor to ask, guys. Jeremy wants his video in the Mortgage Coach YouTube channel to be the most viewed masterclass. So do us a favor. If you got value, let's see if Jeremy's video in the YouTube channel can get the most likes, only if you really liked it. And then, guys, share this with your mortgage friend. Do a sales meeting around this. Share this with your managers. Like, if they don't have Mortgage Coach integrated in their tech stack, go, hey, why don't we have Mortgage Coach integrated? Why don't we have Sales Boomerang alerts? Why don't we have a borrower intelligence platform? Forward this to your leaders. Alex, any closing thoughts for you, brother?
man, I just want to extend this for another hour. That's what I want to do, is just extend it. I got to just say this. If I'm sitting in your shoes and you're originating a loan and you showed somebody a digital presentation like the TCA, I'd be like, I dare you to go talk to somebody else. Please go talk to somebody else, because you will just be like, hey, can I see what you're saying? And they're gonna be like, yeah, here's a fee sheet. No, like a graph and project. Here's a fee sheet. No, you're not getting me. I want to be able to see a change. Here's a fee sheet. You're like, all right, I gotta go. Click. I would just dare everyone, go talk to somebody else. I dare you. So brilliantly done, guys. Evan and Jeff and Jeremy, amazing.
Brother, hey, you guys are awesome new leaders. I'm looking forward to interviewing both of you at some point in the not too distant future. Thank you for all the service you give to all the families you serve. You're making the mortgage industry better. So keep up the good work, gentlemen. Jeremy Forcier, always, brother. You crush it, and I can't wait to see you in the real world, brother.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Evan, Jeffrey, special shout out to you. Thanks for being on, you guys.
Thanks for having
Jeremy.
us. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Hey, guys.